And after the Blade Runners successfully defended their tag titles against the Precision Warriors, if you haven't checked out this tag team clash for our tag team titles, then you're missing something big. And this could also be big because we will see our European champion Swerve in action against D-Brian Kendrick. And don't forget, D-Brian Kendrick did cost Swerve his match with Andy 2 weeks ago here on NXT UK. So yeah, there's some bad bloods in history between our European champion Swerve and D-Brian Kendrick, as also between Swerve and Andy. Things are heating up. I mean, Andy ambushed Swerve last week backstage in the backstage area, and Swerve then cost Andy his qualifier match for the Royal Rumble against A-Kid, and we saw Andy's response to that earlier tonight when he completely lost it and ambushed A-Kid in the backstage area. And we don't know on A-Kid's condition, but I think his chances of being in the Royal Rumble match aren't that big as much. Same about Cameron Grimes, who earlier got assaulted by Kyle O'Reilly. Anyways, let's see what our European champion can do against D-Brian Kendrick. And well, the last couple of weeks and months they're looking up for D-Brian Kendrick. I mean, he didn't get the results, but he got the he's looked good against a former NXT UK champion Maskman when they had that clash. And even though he came up short in this matchup, Swerve looked good, and D-Brian Kendrick looked good in it. Swerve looked good as our European champion.
Weighing in at 201 pounds, the WWE European Champion, Isaiah Swerve Scott.
As the crowd so hyped to see this man Swerve in action. He won the title. Remember, he won the title last month on pay-per-view, winning a huge battle royal to become the first ever NXT UK European champion. The European champion's been, well, it's been out of the business since the early 2000s, and now it's been back, and I enjoy it. We have a mid-card belt, and it's a highly prestigious one with the European Championship, and it makes sense because, well, we have our show in the United Kingdom, which is in Europe, but also, so it makes sense, you know, to have our own European champion. And there we have D-Brian Kendrick with his roots, UK.
Weighing in at 174 pounds, Brian Kendrick.
And despite Swerve's titles not being on the line, with a good performance from D-Brian Kendrick against Swerve here tonight, he might have a title shot on his own rights in the future. I mean, then he could go to our interim general manager Sasha, or the boards of directors, because Sasha got ambushed, like already talked about earlier this week on NXT. So yeah, we don't know any but about our interim general manager well-being, but we know that he has been brought to the hospital after whatever happened in the backstage area, and now we're starting with Swerve and D-Brian Kendrick. Hopefully our general manager get the best treatment in the hospital and return to in-ring action on NXT, but also to his duty as our interim general manager of both NXT and NXT UK as well. Huge Russian leg sweep there from D-Brian Kendrick on Swerve, but like I said earlier, if D-Brian Kendrick get a result here, or even a good performance, he could say, hey, I performed good against the champion, I earned a title shot, in my opinion. Huge drop kick there from D-Brian Kendrick after an impressive performance a couple of months ago against Maskman. Despite the loss, and the third time being the champ for D-Brian Kendrick here tonight. Huge kicks there, busted Swerve open in the early goings, but missing with a right hook, and then Swerve with the reversal. As Swerve lifting him up and down. Oh my goodness, what a Samoan driver by our champion in the early goings. As Swerve climbing to the top rope. It's up, knees goes up from D-Brian Kendrick, from the well-experienced D-Brian Kendrick, but missing with the forearm. Swerve with the backbreaker. There's Swerve Scott, despite being not so long in our company. He's been a trained athlete. Huge springboard bulldog there from Swerve. D-Brian Kendrick immediately back to his feet. Which kicks and strike from D-Brian Kendrick. Form as well. Despite the crowd disliking for D-Brian Kendrick. Which kick to the face there from Swerve to get out of harm's way. Stretching the arm, dropping the knee. Swerve kick to the back of Zebra and Kendrick. And don't forget we have the Royal Rumble this Sunday in RealUniverse time coming up. And then we'll have time in a couple of days where Swerve, due to being champion, qualified for the men's Royal Rumble. Huge drop kick there from Zebra and Kendrick. Unfortunately for Zebra and Kendrick, the gap's just closed, and well, if wouldn't, he might would earn a Rumble qualifier shot by competing against a champion. Huge boot there from Kendrick as from Swerve. As there we heard the music from Andy. Andy with the distraction to Swerve after Swerve cost him his Rumble qualifier against A-Kid last week. But before getting attacked the week prior from Andy. As Swerve fighting back against Zebra and Kendrick, even reversing the finish of Kendrick. And that's how tough our champion is to beat, dragging Zebra and Kendrick away from the ropes. Can this be enough to win it here for Swerve? 1, 2, no. Zebra and Kendrick kicked out. And Swerve can't believe that this wasn't enough, but he can get desperate springboard moonsault onto the back of Zebra and Kendrick, who now goes out cowardly out of the way of Swerve. And it's smart though from Zebra and Kendrick. Don't have to like it, but that's not what it's all is about for Zebra and Kendrick. It's not about being liked anymore. It's about results. It's about winning championships, perhaps even. Whipping Swerve against a barricade. Another shoulder tackle into the back first for Swerve into the barricade. As we get an attack in the backstage area by Andy, and could lead to back problems for Swerve. We don't know how Swerve's well-being is about. I don't know if he's at 100%, but he's cleared by our doctors to be in the ring, and Zebra and Kendrick bringing him back inside the ring, jumping down with a painful looking knee drop. As Zebra and Kendrick knows if he wants to impress anyone, he has to beat Swerve inside the ring instead going for a count out. 2 knees to the back of Swerve. As now Zebra and Kendrick will have I demand 5-man's carry reversal there from Swerve out of nowhere. Can it change into a favor of our champion, and all of a sudden Swerve whipping Zebra and Kendrick in the corner, lifting him up and down. So Zebra and Kendrick springboard moonsault again. Swerve looking hot right now, standing up with foot stomp. As Zebra and Kendrick trying to ground Swerve but get grounded himself. The drop kick will this be enough to put Zebra and Kendrick away? Rough counting 1, 2, sweet. No, it's not. Zebra and Kendrick stays alive. Swerve can't believe it. He's busted open, he's brutally, he's battered, but Zebra and Kendrick kicking out like a champ. Even though he's not. He gets ejected by the champ, by the European champ, by our European champ, might I add. As Swerve gets him with strikes, but Zebra and Kendrick, which kick there from Swerve, dropping him up and over. Zebra and Kendrick tried to get him with something, but nope, missing completely, but get the backbreaker of Swerve as both men get countered. Our set 3 already. We have to deal with counter Zebra and Kendrick up on the apron. Swerve back inside the ring. Swerve tossing him down, slamming him down, following up though, because Swerve is a fair champion, a Twitch warrior. He don't want to get counted out. Kick to the midsection of Zebra and Kendrick there from Swerve, swatching the arm though, dropping his knee. Yet again, second time in the matchup, now punches to the face of Zebra and Kendrick. As both men get counted out, Swerve is at 2 already. Will this resort on the counter resort? Huge DDT from Swerve. Get the better of Zebra and Kendrick on the outside where there's no protective mat. If you haven't noticed already, as now Swerve bent down with an arm dance there. Was that 5 already? Swerve Impaler into a Falcon Arrow. Usually it's Impaler DDT, but this time Swerve put his own grip into it. And the brain buster as well as could look for a double counter. Web's at 7 already. Swerve, I don't know if he cares anymore about this matchup. As Zebra and Kendrick sending him into the barricade before being in Web's at 8. As Zebra and Kendrick back inside the ring. And tells Swerve, you want to fight that, we fight like that. Web's at 9, we can't make it back in time. Yes, just Swerve barely beats the count, but he also gets hit with a super kick by the incredible Zebra and Kendrick. And the Dragon Sleeper, but the rope saving our champion there. As you by Kendrick have to be frustrated after that. Roll up, will it be enough to put the champ away? 1, 2, sweet. It's not Swerve kicking out that last monster. See by Kendrick can't believe it. And now he's telling Swerve that it's over. He's telling the crowd that it's over. But can he get it done? Can he get a result against our European champion here tonight? What could this mean for his career? Running forearm. Finds its mark. But can he put him away twice with a DDT of his own? Goes into the already busted open Swerve there. Swimming him in the corner. Climbing for the top rope. I see Brian Kendrick telling everybody that this is his moment. Goes down with a jumping knee. See Brian Kendrick getting a result. Huge thrust kick there. Lifting Swerve up for another one. Now calling for something big. And he smacks him one. Smacks our champion one. But then his next punch gets countered. And Swerve yet again. With a swift shot. Will this be enough? Goes in the cover as a crowd chanting one more time. Will this be enough to put Brian Kendrick away? 1, 2, sweet it is. Swerve wins it. Our champion saying tall off a tough. After a very tough performance here by Brian Kendrick. A very great performance despite him being a coward from time to time, but still. And his dirty antics, but still. A great performance nonetheless, but yet again coming up short against the champion here. And the NXT UK arena. As Swerve sending point despite Andy being inside our champ's head. But when will they clash for Swerve's title has been questioned. As Swerve being so good about himself. And why shouldn't he? He's competing in the Royal Rumble. Comes this Sunday. What a match and what a winner. As we are not even close of being over, don't forget our main event, we will see our world champion Roddy Strong in action after he witnesses best friend, his teammate Kyle O'Reilly coming short against one of his challengers. He comes this Sunday at Royal Rumble against Cameron Grimes. We heard the boss of the director said, Roddy, if you or Kyle O'Reilly or somebody else takes on one of your challengers for Royal Rumble, like your friend, your teammate Kyle O'Reilly did with Cameron Grimes, you will use your title immediately. So, and well, they get swept. Roddy gets swept out of his title. So, yeah, Roddy will be in the main event against one of his challengers after Roddy injured his supposed to be challenger Ilya Dragunov last week on NXT here on NXT UK. So, yeah, there will be Roddy versus JD, John Devlin in our main event, and well. We saw one of the other challengers who not got attacked, Walter, in action and tag team action by stealing a win with his Imperium teammate from Imperium, Alexander Wolf, and Bartel at ringside against High Energy. And well, hope you're hyped for our main event, and as much as you were hyped for this match, this great match, and let's see what our main event will be all about.